Hello and welcome again to the Writer Review. This is Eric Carrot Writer, and this week we're going to be taking a look back at the 2019 crime drama movie titled Things I Do for Money. Now, Things I Do for Money runs for 1 hour and 39 minutes long. It is directed by Warren B. Sonoda. It is produced by Emily Andrews, Avi Fettergreen, Laura Norden, and Jen Pogue. The script was written by Warren B. Sonoda and Gary R.D. Nolan. The music was composed by the very talented brotherly duo of Maximilian and Theodor Aoki, the cinematography by Christoph Benfi, and it was edited by Anna Catley and Kat Weber. And the stars of the movie are the very talented brotherly duo of Maximilian and Theodor Aoki. Other co-stars in there include Yodit Tewoderos, Rhett Morita, Jennifer Lynn Walton, Dax Lough, Danilo Reyes, Collette Zacca, and Ali Kazmi. Now, under the direction of Warren P. Okay, did I say Warren B? My mistake. I'm sorry. I'll be more than happy to hang myself by the noose once this program is done. Things I Do for Money is a giddy, fun little heist film that succeeds in being entertaining but doesn't quite reach the level to fully take your breath away. Mostly because a lot of it is convoluted in detail. So, set in the city of Hamilton, Ontario, the film takes centers around two young Japanese Canadian brothers, Eli and Nick Yaguchi, played by Theodore and Maximilian Aoki, who are aspiring young cellists who have hopes that their talent will soar them in the right direction. Like I said, if anything, it's the score, the soundtrack that really carries out this movie, when they do, especially when the brothers do a cello duo based off of a song also called Things I Do for Money, which was written by Jay Semko, who was a member of an 80s Canadian rock band who maybe many people may have not remembered, but I remember greatly the Northern Pikes. So yes, these young aspiring musicians hope that their talent could take them to new heights. And the thing is that they're not playing, you know, cheesy Baroquean four-string quartet type of music. No, they're actually playing more like contemporary rock or pop music on their cellos, which goes to show you that even symphony orchestra can be utilized in any particular drama. You never know. You could probably even play a violin or a fiddle in rap music. I mean, any instrument that you could pick up, you could create your own uh, genre. It doesn't necessarily have to be in the standards or the traditions of whatever musical genre that is required. You can step outside the lines, and they actually succeed in doing that. A local miscreant by the name of Alexei Raduli, played by Dax Lough, forces the siblings to cancel their plans for the upcoming recital so that they can join them so that on a boisterous heist. Nick definitely agrees to go along with the task, but Eli cleverly rebuffs. Eli, who fears that Nick is being led into the world of crime, tells him to completely break ties with Alexei and that their music should be their primary concentration. Now, in a lot of movies, a lot of people often think of the older sibling as being the more responsible, more mature one in the of a duo. Any kind of movie, any kind of TV series, it's been a kind of almost a bit of a cliche that older siblings tend to play the more responsible characters. While to counteract that, actually Eli, who is the younger brother, is actually the more responsible one than older brother Nick. It's Eli who's actually playing it more safe, while Nick wants to go and hang around with a punk like Alexei and to go along with some kind of heist. But when a lump of money mysteriously materializes, the young men eventually find themselves in a predicament as they are now part of the underworld and their future is now suddenly put on hold. Yes, just when you think that this movie may probably look like it might come across as a bit of a coming of age type of thing, because of course a lot of teen based movies basically focus a lot on coming of age. This movie is not a coming of age story like I would have probably expected. Sure, these guys are probably still high schoolers and are just, one step away from graduation and out to college in hopes that maybe after high school their music talents will take them to a next level. Maybe a potential scholarship. Maybe they might one day become stage musicians. But if they end up going to the direction by following a thug, a punk, a badass like Alexei, this could probably tarnish their reputation. And if they don't make it to the recital, they could might as well just kiss their scholarship goodbye. Will they make the smart decision? Well, I will get more into that. I'll say one thing for sure. This movie is definitely not going to win any Oscars in any way, shape, or form. But then again, who gives a damn? This is very high on entertainment. Things I Do for Money may have a heist element to add to the excitement, but the real genre is mostly coming of age as it concentrates on the supportive relationship between the two brothers, Eli and Nick. And for an added bonus, they were performed. The music was performed by the real life brothers, Theodor and Maximilian Aoki. And I gotta admit, their music is top of the line. In spite of them being real siblings, the chemistry is very effective, and not one of them ever one ups the other. And that's great. I guess if you were born and raised in the same household, you understand each other's strengths and weaknesses, and it seems like the chemistry just seems organically natural and put in place. Makes sense, doesn't it? It just makes everything feel organic in nature, feeling that they know each other very well. Well, at least I hope they should. They seem to stand out for each other, whether they're fighting the mob or practicing their music. They always have each other's backs. Like many heist films, the scene where the big heist comes into place, the camera work is very fast moving and can be very complex to film, especially when knowing that their lives are in great danger. But then again, danger seems to sort of just lure them in. I mean, one of the dark things about the Yaguchi brothers is that it seems that their family, especially particularly on their Japanese side, they're not like full blown Japanese. I mean, their mother's Caucasian, but anyhow, that's besides the point. Um, their family, especially on their paternal side, seems to have some kind of association with underworld activity. And while Eli wants out, Nick wants in, you know? And that's just kind of like the drift that is supposed to technically draw them apart. But I guess somehow Eli just does not have the heart to watch his brother suffer. So if my brother suffers, I guess I may as well take some of the suffering too. That's kind of like the mentality we get from Eli. And this is kind of like original because Eli is supposed to be Eli is the younger brother who seems to be the more level-headed, and Nick, who's the older brother, seems to be the one who wants in. At least it breaks that kind of cliche tradition of being the older sibling, the more responsible one. This time it's the other way around. Yeah. And the reason why that the heist scenes seem to be somewhat complex is due to the sudden rush in committing the crime and the no hesitate policy that comes with it. The action must be spot on in order for it to be effective. In addition, the heist plan has to be undertaken in a more simplistic fashion just so that there is no confusion as to what the viewers are witnessing. Also, an effective heist scene needs a well rounded twist as a way to effectively catch the audience off guard. The film succeeds in accomplishing both tactics thanks to the direction of Sonoda and his co writer Gary R.D. Nolan. Now, I'm not saying that this movie is perfect, but in fact, it's far from it. I mean, the big flaw in this movie is when the script becomes too overwhelming in its own intentions. If they would have just concentrated on the heist scenes and the relationship between the siblings, this movie had the potential to be really special. A problem is that it sadly becomes too involved with a myriad of subplots scattered around, making it at times convoluted and confusing. I mean, why the hell did they do that anyway? I mean, it's okay to say no to a certain scene. You don't just have to cram everything in just so that a person will not get their feelings hurt. We know in this world we live in, we need a little tough love. And yes, sometimes feelings do hurt. And yes, sometimes it sucks monkey balls, but you just can't be fucking pussies about it. You have to take the initiative and say, no, we're not doing that. We're gonna stick to one. We're gonna stick to one or two subplots, and that's it. If you don't like it, there's the door. Don't trip on the way out. Or on second thought, you know what? Do trip on the way out. I don't mind a few laughs here and there. But if you do trip on the way out, don't get hurt, because then that won't be funny. But if you do trip on your way out, I don't mind. I can use a few laughs here and there. So, with a cluster of mobsters and backstabbing dealings, the subplots really don't add up at times. While the settings and the characters provide an intricate level of excitement, the movie just can't seem to piece the puzzle together fruitfully. Which is too bad because it's not every day that two cellists collaborate to bring down an entire mob. I mean, what do they know from? What do they know from crimes from crime-based syndicates? Their focus is mostly on just playing the cello, entertaining their entertaining their teachers, hopefully trying to get a scholarship to some great university to pursue their careers in maybe music education or something like that. Maybe take their education to a higher level. you know? I mean, the possibilities are endless. But to have them tangled in underworld criminal activity, that's not a step in the right direction, I'm afraid. There seems to be some rather unorthodox contradiction that intertwines within the realms of the Aoki family dynamics. And though the brothers are organically gifted musicians, their family seems to have strong connections to criminal activities. While Eli wants to distance himself from those connections and believes that the world of music is the career ambition he's willing to fulfill. And while Eli seems to have a very steady head over his shoulders, we also know that Nick, even though seems to be willing to partake in these criminal activities, we know and Eli knows that Nick isn't a dumb person either, but seems pulled into the life of crime due to the easy money made. And Eli will do anything to persuade Nick to turn away and return to, to the side where they will make beautiful music together. They're not out to, and maybe, hey, they'll make money that way. Maybe not easy money, but at least something that requires, I don't know, art instead of crime. Need I say more? I will go on. And sure, Eli might be trying his best to turn away from his criminally inclined family. The activities have them involved. And sure, it draws a message of chasing your own dreams and following your own path of life. That's where the whole coming of age theme and the moral lesson is in this story. It still contradicts that acclaim that depending on family legacies are what really matters most. But you don't have to follow the paths that your families pursue. You guys have dreams, you guys have ambitions, you guys have goals. Stick with your own goals. Never mind what your family has. Choose your own directions, choose them wisely. But unfortunately, this movie sometimes still kind of rests in that kind of frame of mind that family legacies are the ways to go. But I don't seem to agree with that. I agree with Eli. You should choose your own career paths and know you could still love your family and still care for them. But it's your own decisions that should be what should be a top priority. And sure, I'm sure there's never a dull moment. It's fun to watch, and a lot of energy is saturated into the plot. It's still sad that trying to escape a dreadful legacy can also mean embracing it as well. It's like, I want out, but somehow there's some kind of manifestation that wants to pull you back in. So while there is much to like about things I do for money, being that it's high in ambition, there's just way too many characters and subplots to keep the narrative cohesive. And while the intense atmosphere is omnipresent the whole time, it's not fully planned out methodically. But if you still feel that the movie is convoluted and confusing, I still have strong feelings for it. It's still original and entertaining enough for a fun night of heists and some good cello music if you're into that. So, would I recommend this movie? I would not have too much in expectations, but I still think it is highly recommended. And it's good that the movie doesn't have any, like huge, big time A-listers. And for that, their acting is actually surprisingly quite good. Even the brothers, Theodor and Maximilian Aoki, these guys, they're not poster childs of really anybody. And then that doesn't mean I'm debunking them, but they're not A-listers. But I still feel that they actually gave it their all. I can't say really the same about the supporting characters because, well, they just never really, you know, they they really actually show that these guys, the supporting cast definitely do show the amateur side to them. Warren B. Sonoda did not cast A-listers. Is that a bad thing? No. But still, you could tell that there's a lot of amateur in this movie. In spite, but then again, I never really quite gave too much credit for the acting too much. Basically, it's all about the plots and the narrative. And that the fact that the Aoki brothers are very talented musicians. So if they wish to continue to pursue their career in music, they got something to look forward to. But if they wish to pursue their career in acting, they still got a bit of a way to go. No matter which direction they get in, I'll still be proud of them. So, with all that said and done, if I was to give this movie a scale out of 10, I would give Things I Do for Money a 7.5 out of 10. So, I guess this ends my writer review. Thank you all for listening in. If you wish to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please feel free to do so. But if you wish to leave a comment, go right ahead. But just remember the three simple rules: be kind, be courteous, and please refrain from any rude comments. And I will be back again with another movie review. So until next time, this is Eric Rhett Writer saying keep watching those movies, and I'll see you around. Goodbye.